So what do we got here? Right, so we've got an 11cm by 11cm bag. I've had to take some of the top off it, but what we have is the bag. I've turned the corners in, both corners, and then flatten them down, and then put the flower in, and then close the top over. So instead of it just being a bag that I'm going to lay flat, it's made it more of a tall puck that I'm going to press down on. It's less surface area, more pressure directly on this puck. And then the next step is putting it on the press. And I've already put 2 bits of paper in it. And then this puck, this is nigh on 20 grams we're doing here, probably about 15 grams. Didn't actually weigh it because I know what the percentages are return on both flowers, so it doesn't matter. But this is the Slurricane mint and most of the lemon sour diesel. Straight up to a ton. Now I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Can you see anything going on in there? Oh, I can't see anything going on in there. Oh, there we go. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see a little bit of glistening going on in there. So if I now take it up to another couple of ton, we should start seeing some progress. There we go, see? We're only actually on about 4 tons at the moment. Take it up slowly so we don't we're less likely to get a blowout of the bag. The flour squeezing its way through the seams of the bag, and then obviously getting bits of flour in the rosin, which we don't want. We want the rosin as pure as possible. There's a fair amount coming there. I mean, as we've seen on the shorts, this should give a good 20% return. And that's 6 tons. Take it up much further and probably going to risk splitting the bag. This may only be a 20% return, but it's going to look nice, I think. It's going to be a nice 20%. The room is filling with a slightly pleasant smell. This is going to be a much better result than the HGH and whatever I put that in with. The Slurricane mint anyway isn't anywhere near as completely damaged and dead as the HGH is. Let's take it up just a little bit more and then we'll see what we've got. Although, yeah, you can't see that, but let's look. Let's open this on the table, open it flat. Come back over here, you. I've got to say, that smells amazing. Here we go then, fresh off the press. Now if I was doing this, I'm only doing this for myself obviously. But if this was a commercial operation, which obviously it isn't, you'd be wearing gloves to make sure that none of this gets contaminated by human oils and all that kind of stuff. Let's take the puck out though. Oh no, got it a bit smushed in some of that. So now what we'll be doing with this is folding it over so the pressure's going to be on a smaller point, and you can see around the edges where there's still a bunch of the active ingredients, a bunch of the rosin. So I'm going to squeeze the rest of that out, get as much out as I can. Obviously you can't get all of it out. Some of it's going to get stuck in the bag, or it's going to get stuck in the edges, it's going to get stuck in the compacted flour. But that's the thing with rosin. There's a bit of a waste it to taste it thing going on because you're not using chemicals. You're just using gentle heat and a fair amount of pressure. But this smells amazing. It's going to be really easy to collect up. Look, it's just all collecting together. It wants to congeal. Oh, look at that golden look as well. Oh, it's not picking up on the camera. That's a shame. It's glistening. It's gold and it glistens and it has a really strange, I don't know, gold thing going on with it when you stretch it out and then bring it back together again. Whereas unfortunately on the camera it just looks brown. Fold over the 2 halves and it's going to be a lot easier to collect up in a minute. Right. Let's do the dab. So here we go. I've already done a dab test on both of these varieties, but let's try them both together. Ooh, I wish I could place that taste. Oh, that is so familiar. What is that? Oh, that makes a completely different flavour. Oh, it's so familiar. That's reminding me of something. Maybe I've managed to get it closer to household cleaning products now, but I don't know. That is very nice. That is most certainly very effective. I've been awake for quite a while, so this is going to help. So one of the reasons I do this is because The dab that I've just done, or the dab that's still going, that would be a whole bunch of flour. If I was just vaping that as flour, that would be a whole lot of, quite a bunch, I don't know, maybe a couple of bowls of flour. It makes more sense for me to do a dab or two instead of bowl after bowl after bowl of flour. And you can't hear all the coughing I cut out of these videos. Some of it is going to seem like some of it gets wasted and there's still maybe smoke coming off this or vapour coming off this. But that's the thing with dabs, you've got to waste it to taste it a little bit. And yeah, that tasted very, very, very nice. So, Slurricane mint, not recommended, but if you add it in with something that has a lot of flavour and is really good, then it's acceptable. But unfortunately, I have wasted or used nearly all of my lemon sour diesel just to make the Slurricane mint usable. And if there's any seeds in the Slurricane mint that I've got, they'll have been squashed in here and they will ruin the rosin. They will make it taste a bit off because you're essentially vaping the oils and everything from inside a seed. And that's not good. That doesn't taste good and you're not supposed to be vaping that. What's the last thing you do? Well, the last thing you do is you clean the dish. People have various methods. Some use Q-tips, some use blob mops, which are Q-tips, cotton buds with a huge amount of cotton on the end. Me personally, I get through so many Q-tips if I use them for cleaning, and I don't find them that effective anyway. I find it's easier just to shove 2 bits of tissue paper in there, rolled up in the right way, and there you go. I lost my favourite tool for gathering up rosin. Had a lovely point on it and then a lovely shovel bit on one end, triangular shovel bit on one end, and that was fantastic for gathering rosin up. But that disappeared with another life. So sometimes you get rosin that's too greasy, it's too oily, greasy and smeary and won't gather up properly. Look at that, see? It just gathers up so easily and so well. And when it's like that though, when you can't gather it up, it's good to get a metal clipboard, like a standard A4 metal clipboard, stick it in the fridge for a bit or stick it in the freezer for a bit, and then when you put it underneath, put the paper on top of the clipboard, so it's much easier to pick it up off the paper. But this stuff is just coming up instantly. Another thing I haven't explained, this is paper on one side, or greaseproof paper on one side, parchment, and then this side is coated with silicone, so that's why it's squeaking a lot. Also why it's so much easier to get the rosin to come straight off the paper. But it's not so good to leave it on this paper because silicone steals terpenes. There we go, bit of a dab. It's coming up well easy. It smells amazing. It's mostly the smell of the lemon sour diesel, but I think the Slurricane mints are supposed to have a bit of a gassy thing going on as well. So those two mixed together, I think they've increased what was imperceptible gassiness so far in the lemon sour diesel for me. All I could taste was the pinene. Seems to have much more increased gassy levels in this now. So because I've had my hands all over the table is now warming up, which is warming the paper up, which is warming the rosin up, so it's not coming off the paper as easily. Let's move to a colder bit of the table, and there we go, my friends. See the sheen on it, the golden colour on it? It's quite beautiful, I think. And there we go. Dab. Silicone steals terpenes, so it's not good to leave rosin in silicone. But I'm going to get through this probably so quickly that it doesn't really matter. But what I do have, clear sheets about this size, specifically for rosin, that's made of stuff that doesn't steal terpenes. I dug them out of the box they've been in for probably a couple of years now at least. So I want it to stick to the clear FEP. So I want the side that's touching the FEP to be warmer than the table. The theory is it'll come off onto the FEP a lot quicker. It'll stick to it. Oh, it did work. It was working. There we go. Fold it over. Trouble with the FEP is it looks manky really quickly because it shows up every little bit of, every blemish. There we go. But yeah, let's get a light behind it so you can see what it looks like a bit easier. That's the dabs. See the air bubbles in it. Not bad. Lovely stuff.